Good morning and welcome back to another episode of the Mighty Process Server podcast. Today is episode number 30. We just relaunched the Process Server Daily podcast, and I'm super excited to be able to do this for you guys. I'm recording here live on YouTube, but primarily the can be found on as an audio podcast. Depending on how things go, we may continue to do them live on YouTube. But if you haven't heard of the podcast, essentially up until now, I have been interviewing process servers and asking them the tips, tools, and tactics that help them get where they are. How they accomplish success in the process serving world. So today, what I want to talk about, I got a couple items here, but one of the main, probably the most impactful thing that impacted my company when I built it initially. Was a paralegal named Donna. And Donna was just tasked with hiring a process server to serve, like, it was something like 1,800 jobs per year. And so we're going to dive into all of that here in just a second, and what she taught me kind of by the conversations that I had with her over about a month or about 2 months span when I first came in contact with her. So we're going to talk about that, why it's so important to understand the different client types and how you can essentially get these big contracts. And so today happens to be Thursday, depending on when you're listening to this. The day happens to be Thursday, which is when we have our Mighty Meetups. And the Mighty Meetups happen once a week. And you can go to mightymeetup.com and actually join. If you're not already a member of the Mighty Process Server community, we are a community of process serving professionals across the country. And as of this recording, there are no charges for anything and no intentions to charge for anything in the future. The idea here is that we network together, and as we network together, we become better. And so that's a really cool thing about the podcast, about the community, about everything. It's just all great. And now I actually own, over the years, building my process serving company, I learned how to market myself, and I learned how to build a company because I learned marketing. When I would be serving out papers out in the evening, what I did was I would go and during the day, I would learn how to do different types of marketing. And so I actually fell in love with marketing. I started a marketing company, and that is the sponsor of the Mighty Process Server podcast. It's called Mighty Website Builder. Who'd have thought, right? So mightywebsitebuilder.com. We are running a special. The sponsor of this podcast, they are running a special for listeners for a 30-day special. So you can visit mightywebsitebuilder.com and take advantage of that half off setup fee. We build $3,000 websites for pennies on the dollar. That's our thing. We only build process server, private investigator websites, legal support professionals. And we've gotten really good at it. So, all right, with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into the content today. What I want to talk about here is Donna. And I've mentioned this before many times at conferences, because a lot of times what I hear, and it just makes me cringe, is people say at these conferences, they say, well, I don't need a website, or I don't need to market my business. I'm okay just being a small server. And I get that. And I do, because it's kind of like I'm able to pay the bills. I'm able to buy my groceries. I'm able to stay just above water, maybe have a little extra that I'm saving. This is kind of the theme. Okay. And I can tell you from many, many experiences I've had and conversations that I've had with people, what you're going to run into if you have that kind of mentality where you don't need more, what you're going to find is that what you have is going to be gone. If you've been in business long enough, or you've done any kind of software or membership site type stuff, there's something we call churn. Okay, like Netflix, for example, they have a churn rate. How often, it's churning, right? It's turning. You get people coming into your business and start using you, and then you have people going out of your business and stop using you. Okay, that's churn. So whether you know it or not, you have a churn rate. Okay. You're only as good as your last serve. And if you're not continuing to fill the pipeline with new business, you will eventually lose that business. Okay, that's how it works. I don't make it up. Okay, I don't make this up. I don't make up the rules. I just follow them. Okay, I've learned them, and so I follow them. So so with all that being said, so what are you saying, Mike? What do we need to do? You need to get more business. You need to bring in new customers constantly. Now, with that being said, like, what kind of customers should you go after? I honestly believe that it's different for everybody. I could give you my strong opinion of what I think you should do, but there's actually from all the different people I've talked to, there's actually a lot of different ways to look at it. So one way to look at it is that, you know what, I actually like getting lots of reviews because it's like the lifeblood of my business. Well, pro se's give you more reviews, right? Pro pers, people who represent themselves. If you do a good job for them, they're more likely to give you a review. You're going to get more of them over time. They're going to pay up front. They're going to pay a premium. So if you're a small server, I say the best thing you could do, like if you're just starting out, is to go get a Google My Business page, get a good website, and then go out there and where people can understand who you are, and then go out there and market yourself to attorneys. And in the process, you're going to get lots of independent processor, independent self-represented litigants that are going to hire you. And this is such a powerful concept because as you grow, because sometimes you'll look at somebody, yeah, a good friend of mine, Kern or Robert Parombo or one of these guys in California that are, millionaire process servers. These guys, you can't compare yourself to them. Okay, you have to compare yourself to where you are yesterday and just try to get a little bit better. So I always recommend go after the pro pers, get on the phone with them, set expectations while you're trying to get attorneys. And then once you've moved up, you can go. So let's talk about the story of Donna. Donna is actually the more, once you've been serving for a little while, you'll probably learn this lesson. Hopefully you learn this lesson. If you haven't, if you never do, learn it today. Okay. Learn it today. Donna is a paralegal that works for a law firm that handles eviction cases. And she has about 1,800 cases per year, her and her firm and everybody in the firm. And Donna I want you to imagine Donna's at a meeting. I'll tell you my experience with her, but first I want you to imagine Donna. I want you to imagine Donna. She's like 60 years old. She's got 2 pugs at home. She's a sweetheart. Okay, she's not really tech savvy or whatever, but she understands relationships. And she's at this board meeting, and the top lawyer that everybody's nervous around tells her, "Hey, Donna, I'm going to need you to. We need somebody to volunteer to find a better firm to handle all of our serves in the state. Who would volunteer for that?" Of course, Donna's like, "I guess I can do it. I like calling people, right? I like doing research and calling people." So they say, "Okay, Donna, you're tasked with this. All right, go find a server that can handle 1,800 jobs." Okay. With that being said, if you're an individual server who's used to not putting your rates on your website, not even having a website, maybe calling and getting an attorney here or there and thinking that you're in control, it doesn't work. Okay, so let me tell you my experience with Donna. So my first phone call with Donna is, she calls me up and she says, "Hey, Mike," or she goes, "Hi, is this the process server?" And I think I even answered, "Process server daily, this is Michael." That's how I answered, right? And she's like, I said, "Yeah, I'm the process server. How can I help you?" She goes, "Yeah, I'm waiting for her to say, I need to have something served in XYZ city, right? That's what I'm waiting for her to say." But instead she goes, "I'm trying to find on your website where it talks about where your mission statement is." I'm like, "Mission statement?" I'm like, "Do you need something served or not?" Like, "Do you need something served or not?" And she goes, "Well, no, we do need things served, but," she doesn't want to give away all the cards. Right? She doesn't want to say, like, she's not going to gloat and go, "I got 1,800 served to send you this year." She's going to go, "Well, we're looking for a process server to handle our workload in the area and in potentially other areas of the state. Is that something that you do? Do you handle evictions?" And when I talked to Donna, I have to be honest with you, when I first talked to Donna, I had only served a couple of evictions. This is like the beginning of year 2. I've served a couple of evictions, and I researched how to do when I took the CCP class, the certification for California process servers. I learned and I really struggled on the what's called the all other occupants, like serving other people inside. So I had to like study it in order to pass. So because I failed the first time I took it, I studied it, retook it again with Cliff Jacobs, and I remember I finally passed it, and so I knew it pretty well because I had to study it extra to get the questions right. And so when I was talking to her, I was like, I didn't know what to say, so I just told her what I knew. She's like, so you handle evictions?" I said, "Well, yeah, definitely. Yeah, we actually specialize in evictions. Right? We specialize in evictions, and one of the things that I try to do is make sure that I always serve all of their occupants, and we actually include that in our base rate service. So, like if we're serving John, we'll actually include the all other occupants when we serve it at no additional cost. But we do like to do the notice. We take a date and timestamp photograph of the posting because that's the number one most contested thing. So you start to get certain things like that in your like phrases that you say over and over. They're still stuck in my head, right? All these years later. And she's like, "Wow, that's exactly what we're looking for." And I was like, "Oh, great. Wow, that's perfect." Right? And she goes, "That's what we're looking for." Unfortunately, I don't see anything on your website, and I have to bring this back to my attorney. I need to know your mission statement, your slogan. I need to have your list of rates for the different counties in California. I want to know your rates. I want to know how often you serve, how many attempts do you make. It can't be the same in all the areas, right? And but here's the thing, like, I don't think she would have told me what she needed, like, in detail like that, if I hadn't told her and kind of proved to her in a way that I knew at least the basic civil code of procedures that she was looking for, specifically to evictions, right? And so I guess the story of Donna that I wanted to tell, and I'll keep going here. The idea is that Donna's her job is on the line. Like she's not just gonna go, yeah, let's use this guy. And neither would you. Like if you were tasked, and I am tasked with finding servers all over the country for my clients. And so I relate to her a lot now when I call people and I'm like, first of all, they didn't answer the phone the first time I called them. They're when they send me an email, it's an Outlook email or a Gmail email. It's not a branded, company email. If you have those things, it's not the worst thing in the world. Okay, I'm not beating up on you. I'm just saying, like, they start to leave clues, little things like that. It's like, oh, they don't answer the phone. Their voicemail is full. They're they don't respond to their emails. And most importantly, if you do leave a voicemail, they don't call you back. They're like, he already found somebody else. So they don't call you back. And so there's so many, I guess you could call it unprofessional, okay, things that they do. And that's what she's looking for. She's looking for clues that she shouldn't use you, not for clues that she should use you because your price is right. I think so many people are focused on their price being perfect or cheaper than the next guy. Instead of having a race to the bottom, why not have a race to the top? Say, listen, I charge a premium. That's true. I charge a premium for my service, but you get the best service money can buy. Like I challenge you to go find somebody who gives better service than we provide for cheaper. You're not going to find it. And the funny thing about it is the attorneys, often my best clients, attorney clients, they're the latte drinking, steakhouse eating. They will pay a premium, but they want the best. That's just how it is, right? And so those are the clients you should go after. So for Donna, what I did is I said, Donna, I don't have those things yet. And I had to tell her this because she seemed like a sweet lady. I said, I don't have a list yet, but I could put something together for you. What format should it be in? Because I honestly, I didn't know. I was like, does she want like a Google sheet? Should I list these out on Word? I was kind of lost, right? And she's like, oh yeah, if you can just do like a spreadsheet that lists the different counties and how much you charge for each county, that'd be great. So my first rate sheet was real bad looking, man. It was terrible. It was bad. And so I did a rate sheet and I sent it over to her and she was like, where's your rush rate? and where is it to post the notice after the judge signs the order?" And I was like, "Oh, crap. I don't know what that means." So I called my friend. I think I called Chad Barger at the time. He's over in Bakersfield area, Fresno, Bakersfield. And he's like, no, he's in Bakersfield. Yeah. Chad with ACE, Attorney Certified Services. He's a good guy, real good guy. Him and his wife. His wife's way too hot for him. I probably shouldn't have said that. But anyway, yeah, they're a great couple over there in Bakersfield. And I called Chad because he was one of the guys that put on the class, right? When I did the California certification class, he was one of the guys that gave me the first test, and when I failed. And so I knew him. I knew he knew what he was talking about. So I called Chad and I said, "Hey, gets his eviction. She's asking me about orders to post. How much do you charge for that?" And I was overanalyzing it. Like looking back on it now, I was overanalyzing it, but you don't know what you don't know, right? Like, a lot of people just include the posting, right? Because it's a part of the service or process. Like I go out there, I made my attempts, I send it back to them once because no one answered or it's just vacant or whatever. I do a declaration, I send it back to the client. The client then goes to the judge and says, "Hey, nobody's there. Can we just evict? Can we just have a lockout set?" Right? So they would do the order to post. So I would go back out there and have to post it. So it was this whole process. And so she's like, "How much you charge to post?" And Chad says he does this for free. So I said, "You know what? We actually post for free. It's included. As long as we did the notice for you." Chad told me to say this. I'm pretty sure. Said, "As long as we post the notice for you and do the eviction paperwork, then we'll go ahead and post included." Like it's a package deal, right? And so I told her that. She was like, "Wonderful, wonderful," which turned out to be a mistake because I was sending stuff out to her, and then sometimes we would wait 3 weeks to get an order back to post. So having that be a separate charge would have been a really nice thing to do. It wouldn't have had to been very much, maybe like 40, $50 extra to go back out that one extra attempt. But because sometimes it's like they're fighting in court, and so maybe they have to fight in court for 2 months before I end up going back out to post. So it's almost like a separate job completely sometimes. So, um, yeah, okay. So Donna taught me a few things. So Donna taught me that I needed to have a rate sheet. I needed to be prepared. This is a higher level of client, a higher level of expectations. It's a specialized service for property managers that I didn't realize at the time, but what I really needed to do, and I ended up doing this in a big way, is contacting property managers and saying, "Hey," because the property manager is the end client at the end of the day. If the property manager tells the attorney, "Hey, this is our process server," why would they do that? Well, they would do that because, and I learned this over time working with these folks with Donna, is that the property manager posts their own notices. The problem is they'll go tape their notice up. They don't take a picture or anything. They don't have any technology that puts a date and timestamp photograph, on the photo. So they get contested all the time. And they're technically a party to the action. They're not, because they're not the owner, but as a manager, they're the other party. They're the party that shows up in court and says, "Yes, I did post the notice. What are you talking about?" And the person getting evicted is like, "No, just like you said, I didn't pay my rent, blah, blah, blah." So a lot of times the notice gets contested and the case gets thrown out. And so judges will often throw the case out and they have to start all over again. So having a process, contacting the property management company and saying, "I will do your notices for like $15. Just connect me with your attorney because I'll give them a discount too." That has been so effective because think about it. If you're an attorney and a property man and you specialize in evictions, your clients are property managers. So when the property manager calls and I'm already in the property manager's pocket, I get to now be a part of that situation regardless of who the attorney was using before. So that's been pretty effective. And Donna taught me that. Yeah, as long as the property manager's happy, okay, or the owner's happy of the park. It's a lot of times it's mobile home parks. A lot of mobile home parks, evictions. And she said, yeah. Oh, the other thing she said is be prepared. Like she networked with a lot of other attorneys, paralegals and stuff. And she goes, some of the paralegals I work with wouldn't give you a second look after looking at your website. So that's like when I first learned how important websites were. And I put a whole page about like specializing in evictions and stuff like that. And I put a lot of time into learning how to do that, and I bang my head against the wall. And so this is why I tell people, it's a no-brainer to get a website. Whether you build it yourself, you pay someone, like my friends, some of my friends with these big companies spend $10,000, $20,000. I build a website that's 10 times better than those websites. My team, we build these websites, and they're like, I mean, like $250 to sign up and $47 a month. It's like insane how cheap it is. But I understand the process serving industry, and a lot of process servers out there, they don't have maybe as much money to start out. They're kind of going paycheck to paycheck in a way, right? You serve something, you got to pay for fuel, you got to pay for tires. And so I'm like, why not just make it where they can afford it? And Desi was a big part of that. She's my designer. So, so I learned about websites. So I built the thing specializing in websites. I set that up, and what happened is she kind of helped me. Like every time I went back to her and I said I added a page, we kind of became friends. We definitely became friends. I was sending her a Christmas card. She sent me a picture of her pugs. We're still friends to this day. And Donna, she told me, she goes, like, your initial, the first impression that somebody has with you is what we take. She was just blunt with me. She's like, Mike, when I first saw your website, I called 3 or 4 other of the local providers in your area before calling you back. None of them answered the phone. You're the first one to answer the phone, but you're the last one I called because you didn't have a website. So anyway, she called, and so when she did call me, we hit it off. Like, I had a great phone presence, and I talked to her, and I used to be a salesman before that. And so she, not that you have to be a salesperson, but I was just friendly with her. So she almost like treated me like almost like her son or her grandson or something like that. That's how she acted towards me. And so I was open to receive her feedback, right? So she went back to the attorney with my rates and stuff like that, and came back and said, the attorney doesn't like your rates. He says they're a little high, because I pretty much copied attorney certified services rates. He told me what his rates were, showed me his website. So I pretty much copied his website, his rates. And she's like, those are a little bit expensive. She goes, but if you can do the notice included for the property manager and make the property managers happy, then I think we can move forward. And so I said, okay, let's do it. And so she sent me a couple jobs, and then I went out to serve them, and I realized these were like mobile homes. And so as I was out there trying to serve these mobile homes, a lot of them were just vacant, where the property manager was like, we have to go through this process with our attorney to make sure. And what they were doing is they ended up getting where they had to do an auction, so they could auction off the trailer once it was evicted. And I was like, cool, I'll just buy up all these trailers. So I went to one of the auctions, and it turns out it's kind of a racket. What they have going on is it says in the fine print that I went to 3 or 4 of these auctions, and it says in the fine print that if somebody were to buy it at auction, they have to remove it from the park. So the park is getting that trailer one way or another, because nobody's removing a jalopy trailer from the park to go put it in some field somewhere. Very rare does that happen. So after going to a few of these auctions, I talked to the lady who was doing it, and she was a real sweet lady, another lady that worked for some private auction company. And she goes, you don't have to be licensed to be an auctioneer. You could do it. And so I called Donna back, and I said, Donna, I said, my company's going to start doing these auctions. Is there a possibility that I could do the auctions for you? And she's like, okay, I don't know. Let me ask Joe. And so she'd call the attorney, and he was like, yeah, that's fine. I don't care. He could do it. How much would you charge? And I go, it's really new for us. Could you tell me what you're paying right now? Just kind of being bold. And she's just like, yeah, we're paying 175. And I was like, how about I do 150? I would never have thought of charging 150. I would probably charge like 75 or something like that. It's like your value. When you think your value is worth less, it is. It is worth less. Like, whatever you think your value is worth, that's what other people are going to treat it. Like, I know the value of our websites. I was talking to Desi earlier today, are $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. I know that, but we charge less, even though we know it's worth more, because we want to be able to help more people, right? So understand your services. Like at 123 Legal Support, I've raised my rates to a point where a lot of people are like, no, I don't want it. The people who just trust us already, they have no problem paying the fee. They never complain. They just pay the $150 rate and $147 rate all day long, and they don't say anything about it. And anyone who does say something about it is going to be somebody who, and Desi said this today about website clients, anybody who gives you a really hard time and like wants to pressure you to build a website like super like in one day, or wants to, go get crazy with all kinds of changes and not have to pay anything and stuff like that. These kind of people are people you don't want anyways. And I've experienced that as well with my marketing company when I did Google Ads and stuff. If people don't appreciate the service you provide, they can move on. They could go somewhere else. You have to know your value. And this leads to where I got like that $5,000 serve. Like I'll do a different I'll do a different episode about that. But I got paid $5,000 to serve something, and it took me maybe like 6 hours altogether. Skip tracing, calling, brought in a couple other skip tracers to help me find this guy, and I served him. Got $5,000, and I was like, afterwards, I was like, there is no limit to what somebody will pay if they have the expendable income. Right. If somebody, and do you want to charge people to a point where they're just like raked over the coals and their life is, in shambles? No, of course not. But if you are in a situation where they need your services and you're actually the person that can fulfill, and you tell them an amount and you fulfill, then you get paid that. And the example of the $5,000 serve is like, I tell everybody $500, I'll drop everything I'm doing and I won't serve these ones. I'll go serve your paper. And most people understand that. Like I could go serve these 27 papers and make $3,000, or I could go serve yours and make 500. Which one should I do? Should I go do my route for the evening, or should I go do your serve? Most people are like, oh, okay, that makes sense. No problem. And so when I told this guy, and he goes, $500. When he knew that money was my motivation, he tripled down on it, 10 times down on it. He goes, if you serve it today, I will pay you $5,000. And so I'll tell that story in more detail another time, but I did serve it. And I said, are you serious? I said, I'll go immediately. I will pull out all the guns and I'll go serve it no matter what. He's like, yeah, okay, deal, do it. And I pre-authorized his funds and I went and served it and got $5,000. So, and there's probably about 100 times that I was paid $500 to serve something. And I'm not saying that to brag. Honestly, I promise you, I'm saying that because I want you to experience that level of success. And since I've been talking about it, inside of our community, Mighty Process Server community, I've been seeing a lot of people message me or comment like, hey, I got paid $500 today to do this or that. And then, and then another guy said, hey, I got paid 800 for this one today. I've been seeing that a lot. And it's like, if you value your services, you will get paid more for them. Okay. It's just how it is. Donna told me, she goes, Mike, you're charging too little. In most cases, because she looked at my website once I finished it. And this is another thing too, is like understanding the difference. So like if I put on my website, I charge, let's just make it easy. Let's say I charge $147 on my website. The rate that I give them has to be lower than that, because they already, or the same. But if it's lower than that, they feel like they're getting a deal. Okay. So, and pro pers that see you as a professional because your website is really nice, those people will hire you and pay a premium because they never do this. They did this once in their lifetime, probably having to file for divorce. And now the attorney says, go find your own process server. You got to pay them and they'll give you a proof of service. When you get the proof of service, bring it back to me and the case will move forward. Right. That happens a lot in some areas where the attorney just doesn't want to deal with a process server. They just tell the client to go deal with it, because it's a phone call they have to make. It's a process. It's a relationship they have to make. And if for some reason it goes sour, attorneys have a lot to lose, right? They have an oath. They can get claims against them with the state bar. So anyway, there's a lot of reasons why they might do it. But anyway, You get these pro pers, they'll come to you. They just paid the attorney $5,000. They have no problem paying you 147 or 250 or whatever your rates are, right? Most of the time. And those are also the people who are going to leave you a review. So Donna taught me to build a brand, okay, and to create a perceived value before the value is delivered. Okay, you have to show them that you are a company, not an individual, but a company. Now you can have a personal brand, sure. Mighty everything, right? Mighty Mike and all this stuff. Mighty Processor, like you can have a brand. I've kind of taken it to the next level as a marketer, right? But just have a brand that's a localized brand that delivers on what it is that you say you're going to do. If you say you're going to deliver service or process, in a fast way, like Process Server Daily, that was my first company. I changed the name to it from 530 Process Servers to Process Server Daily. And the idea was that we make daily attempts because nobody else was doing that. Everybody had like routine service. As a Process Server Daily was, we make daily attempts. Give us a try. We'll serve your guy. That was my tag. And it just worked so well because I just told everybody kind of like in a flip it fun way, give us a try. We'll serve your guy. Bye for now. Boom, and just calling and going and visiting and flirting with paralegals and buying them coffee. And, it was just, I had so much fun building that first company. And I think that's what I want to impart upon other people who are thinking about starting a process serving company. Of course, join our community and become a part of this culture that we have that we're building here. But I just love it. I love process servers. I love the community that we've built. There's so many people inside our community that are trying to help each other, and it's so cool to see. I'm really proud of you guys, and I'm proud of the success that I'm seeing. People send me, I wish you guys would stop sending me messages. And I mean, I love the messages. I live for them, but start posting them in the group. Just go inside of the Mighty Process Server group and just post instead of sending it to me so you can hear, hey, nice work, keep pushing. Instead of doing that, post it inside of the community and so the people can see your success. It's not bragging. I promise you, it's not bragging. It is showing that you are finding success. And then through that success, what you're going to find is that people are it's going to be contagious. There's something that someone told me one time. I said, you don't think I'm a little too far out there? I told somebody, and he goes, no, actually, I think what you're doing is you're giving us all permission as process servers to put ourselves out there. And it's okay to put yourself out there, to create a podcast. I saw Cody Patton, one of our website clients, good guy, process server. He's doing it on social media. And he's like, Mike, I'm starting my own like podcast. Would it be okay if I shared it? I'm like, absolutely. Absolutely. The one thing is if you feel like you're going to share something inside the group that is inside of our community that isn't giving anything, it's just taking, then it's probably something you shouldn't post. If you're an affiliate now for Avon and you want to share a link, no, it's not the place. But if you found a way for process servers to make more money, to get more clients, to get better, reviews or stuff like that, this is the perfect place because that's what we need to grow as companies. So just to wrap up the podcast today, the story of Donna. What I call Donna is like a contract client. Even though we didn't have an official contract that I signed, we had an agreement. I sent her the rate sheet. She sent it. Her attorneys looked at it. They all looked at it. They sent it back. They had a little signature at the bottom, little initial saying, okay, these rates are good. Stick to these rates. If you decide to change them, we need to send another sheet. Okay. And that was it. So I call them contract clients. I got many more after that. Child support clients, the credit bureaus, attorneys that referred me to other attorneys that represented credit bureaus. Like I've told these stories in the past on social media, but I will share them here on the podcast with you because I feel like these are lessons I learned along the way that if you learn them, you'll be light years ahead of where I was without having to go through the pains, the growing pains of setting things up. So if you found this valuable and you're on YouTube, go ahead and hit the like button. Let's get this brand new channel that we've created here with some followers. As soon as the channel reaches 100 subscribers, depending on when you're listening to this, it might be much more than that. But as soon as it hits 100, I'm going to release all the old Process Server Daily episodes remastered in video form. So I'm pretty excited about that. That's going to be pretty cool to have all the episodes. I interviewed some of the best, highest performing process serving. One of the things as I was listening to these and editing these old episodes, there's some really cool stories. And so I'm going to be interviewing some more process servers here soon. But the stories is what I was always after, and I kind of like forgot about that. But some of these stories are so crazy. Like a sheriff, Davy Keith got thrown on the ground by a sheriff. He tells the whole story in detail. Kern talks about where they almost shot him when he was in the living room. This old man went and got his shotgun and followed him outside, or he couldn't open the screen door. Like these stories are just great, and they might have been scary experiences for them, sure, but for us to listen after the fact, they're just the greatest. So definitely going to share as many tips as I can to help you process servers, grow your company, and along the way be entertained. So today was pretty much just a story about Donna, but stay tuned. I got lots of guests in the pipeline. If you yourself are a process server and you want to be a guest on the show, reach out to us. Go to the website, mightyprocessserver.com, click on contact, and reach out. I look forward to meeting every process server that wants to meet and talk about process serving and how to grow their company. And of course, the sponsor is mightywebsitebuilder.com. We have a promotion running for the month. It's over at the end of the month where you get half off the setup fee for a $3,000 website. So it's just pennies on the dollar. It's crazy how cheap it is. So anyway, for an amazing website, by the way, I have a lot of cool things coming in the pipeline too for our clients that I want to start making videos and graphics for our current clients, just as an added benefit, which I'm pretty excited about. So I'm going to see the best way to do that. But if you guys have questions, reach out to me. I'm always willing to help on social media. Get inside the Mighty Process Server group. Tag me if you have a question. Let's start a conversation inside the community. Okay. Thank you so much. Take care, guys. Be safe. And as always, live mighty. I'm excited to be able to help you guys. I'm excited to offer this Mighty Process Server community sponsoring it myself with my website company, and love to give any value I can. So let me know if you have any questions. Okay. Thanks so much. See you on the next episode of the Mighty Process Server.